Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is like the 9th time I'm recording this damn voiceover. I'm in McDonald's parking lot, but needless to say, we're gonna get through it. So, as you can tell by the title, some guy tried to slip me a damn plan B. So, let's get into it. I met this guy on a dating website. We were talking for a few months and we decided to meet in the physical. This particular night that we first met, I was going to meet somebody else, but we decided not to meet that day and reschedule. So since I was already like getting dressed and headed towards that way, they lived near each other, so I hit him up before I got on the road and was like, hey, do you want to meet? He was like, for sure. So he went to the liquor store, bought some bottles, and so I drove to his house. This man was decked out. Surprisingly, a lot of the men on that site that I came encounter with, like, they were very like financially stable, like very wealthy, like lawyers, therapists, judges, this guy that I'm talking about. And so I was kind of proud of myself because I was like, girl, you can pull them. Anyways, so I pull up to his apartment, well, condominiums, and it was like a real vibe. Like, he had a view of the city. It was so nice. He had like mood lights on. Shout out to him for putting me on Damaged by Her. I loved her music already, but I had never heard that song, and just like the vibe and that type of playlist was going on. It was so anyways, yeah, so we hit it off. We're drinking, playing cards, dominoes, Jenga. We ended up being grown that night. No shame in my game. And no, I have taken a plan B before when I was way younger, but that wasn't like my means of protection. I don't have, the do often, so there was no need for me to resort to that. And I'm not on birth control, and I wasn't on birth control just simply because I've been on 2 different kind, and it just made me bleed the entire time, so that wasn't for me. And whenever I did do the do, I was using protection, so that is an important detail. But anyways, so yeah, so we do the do or whatever, and following next day, we're still talking and stuff, but I was not expecting for him to be on me the way he was. So he was real like persistent and pushing for us to see each other more. And so we started seeing each other more during the week, and then we started dedicating the weekends to each other. So I had 2 kids at the time, and so did he, but it just so happened that our schedules worked out that we were free to make that time just for us. And so I didn't really think anything of it because I was dating multiple men at the time. I was not sexually active with multiple men, but I was like actively dating, and that was something new for me. In that stage in my life, like, I'd never done that before. Just talking to one dude, like, once we clicked the first 2 days, like, you're my man type thing. That's just how I've always been. I'm still like that. But yeah, so we're talking, and eventually he says that he wants us to be exclusive. I was not prepared for that, and so he made me delete the dating app. And so I did it like a dummy, and he kind of love bombed me. So yeah, so we consistently hung out. And then one night, we decide that we gonna do the nasty. Excuse me. And so we do the do, and he finishes inside of me. We were not using protection this night, guys. And so I don't know if it was the liquor or what, but I started freaking out, and I'm like, I want to go home. Like, why would you do that? And while I'm packing up my spend the night bag, he's like, I want to have a family. Like, I love you, and we need to be together. I can take care of you. I have a good job. Side note, he did work at IMB, I believe it's called, the computer software. So he was making hella good money, but yeah, I didn't care about none of that. Like, I was just like, I can't do this. Like, I was happy with the 2 kids that I had. I have a boy and a girl. I was like, I don't want no more kids. Like, this is it for me, and we don't even know each other. So in total, we were probably talking for about 3 or 4 months on the dating app before we actually met each other in physical. And at this point in time of this happening, it was probably like a month and a half that passed. So maybe about 6 months, a good 6 months, me and him like were talking and knew each other. So I'm just like, no, that's too soon. Like, you didn't even talk to me about it before you did it. Like, you're just doing stuff. Like, you know how many dudes I owe a baby, like, from bumping? Like, come on. No. So I'm like, we can't do this. Like, I'm going to get a plan B, and that's gonna be the end of that. And so he was so upset. So as we're walking to my car for me to go home, he hops in the passenger seat and he starts crying, and he's like, please don't, like, I want to have a baby. And I'm just like, you don't know like if I'm gonna be pregnant anyways, but just like for precaution, I'm going to take it because I can't risk that. And I was like, if you still want to have a baby later on, if we make it 6 months later on, then okay, cool, if that's something that I agree to, but right now, no. So he gets out, he's mad, he slams my door, I peel off. The next morning, because I was hella tired by the time I got home, I rushed to go get the plan B. I take it. So we're mad at each other, so we're not seeing each other physically, we're just communicating via phone. And so I tell him I take the plan B. It's weeks later, and I'm like, I still have not got my menstrual. So I'm like, that's probably like a normal side effect or whatever, if I remember correctly. And then probably like a month or so goes by. He had rolled up on me at my job in between these times, but we hadn't like really set aside time like we were doing to chill. It was just like drive-by type things. So we were seeing each other face to face, but nothing like long-term periods. So finally come around to like, okay, I'm gonna start coming back to your house and stuff. So I go to his house one weekend, and now it's the 3-month mark where I have not got my period. Now in between time, I was taking little pregnancy tests here and there, but I'm like, if I am pregnant, it's too early. So while I'm at his house, I'm gonna tell him what's going on, and I'm gonna make him buy the damn test. So I'm telling him like everything that's going on, that I still have not got my period for 3 months, guys, and I'm not a irregular person. I'm very regular when it comes to my period. So I was freaking the fuck out. He's getting fucking excited, and he's going to buy pregnancy tests. He bought bunches and buttloads of pregnancy tests, and I only took 3 of them, and they came back negative. So I was hella happy, but I'm just like, yo, I still have not gotten my period. So he's over there like trying to plan and shit, and it was pissing me off because I'm like, yo, like, don't get happy about something like that I still have full control over. Like, don't do it. So freaking we go on about our day. I tell him and express to him like, if we're gonna keep dealing with each other, like, we're either gonna have to use protection or you're gonna have to learn how to pull out. I'm like, I know it's good, but you can't keep doing that. I was like, because I don't want to keep popping plan B's, like, they're not vitamins, and you seeing what this is doing to my body and my mental, like, it's not good for me. So time goes on. I finally get my period, probably I want to say about like 2 weeks later, thank the heavens. And so we start seeing each other more regular now. And I don't know if I mentioned, but the man is an alcoholic. Like, he can throw them bottles back. And I don't mean like social events, because at social events it's difficult like to say, oh, somebody has a drinking problem, because you know, like, that's just what happens when you're out sometimes. So me, I'll take a few shots and sip on a drink like to keep me cool. This man will drink bottles after bottles, and I'm not even kidding, no chaser, nothing, taking that straight to the head. So that was like another thing that I'm just like, my God. So yeah, so I get to his house and I'm telling him, you know, I feel like you should slow down on the drinking. It's, you know, fucking you up. And he's like, well, I'm drinking more because I was supposed to get a promotion on my job, but they switched me to another team, and the promotion, you know, that job title won't switch over to this team because this team does not need, you know, that job title. So he was like, I guess, pissed off about it because he was expecting like to be getting more money and stuff. And so I'm just like, chill, you know, trying to be a good little girlfriend, little boo thing, and, you know, motivate him and be there for him and try to give him encouraging words and see the bigger picture and, you know, be positive, and, you know, it's not your time. So that wasn't working. So I started distancing myself from him even more because he was being really snappy, which was another thing. And I'm just like, yo, you used to box. You're not gonna box my ass like Mike Tyson. Like, we're not doing that. Like, so you're misplacing your anger. Like, you need to figure it out. So during this time, it's getting closer to New Year's now. So we end up planning something for New Year's, and we're supposed to be going to his friend's house. And so I'm like getting nervous because I'm like, he loves to drink, and I know like these are his friends, his college buddies, like he's comfortable around these people. I don't want him to let loose, and now I'm, you know, supposed to be kind of responsible, so, or get embarrassed if anything. So we go there. He was kind of like good, like he didn't get too drunk, like he was good. And we went back to his house. Of course we end up doing the do, and I kind of don't really remember like too much. All I know is that he did his business inside of me. And so the next morning, like, I wasn't even gonna say anything to him because I already knew like the mindset that he had when it came to having a baby. So I'm just like, you know what, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just gonna go suck the shit up and take a plan B because I can't risk it. And this motherfucker, like, I don't know, like, I can't blame him. I can't blame him. I can blame myself. I can't blame myself. It just fucking happened. So, you know, it is what it is. So I plan not to say nothing to him. So I tell him, I'm like, can you go to the store? Like, you don't have any Tylenol in the cabinet. Can you go to the store and get like some medicine? Like, I'm having a hangover. Like, get some ginger ale and stuff. Like, I'll make breakfast or whatever. So he's like, yeah, cool. So he goes to the store. He comes back. And I'm chilling. He gives me the ginger ale. He goes into the bathroom. He's like, I'm gonna come out and eat in a second. So I'm like, all right, cool. He's taking hella long. So I'm like, maybe he's, you know, releasing himself, like number 2. So I knock on the door and I'm like, you okay? But as I'm knocking, I'm opening the door. But he's standing up like he's peeing over the toilet. But I peep the Tylenol bottle open on the counter. So I'm like, why the fuck is he standing like that? Like, it looked like he was hiding something. But then I'm like, maybe he's just standing because the trash is in between the two. And so he's like, oh, I'm just taking like the, you know, plastic and the stuffing out of the bottle, because you know how the bottles have the cotton balls, like that type of stuff in there or whatever. So I'm like, oh, all right. And so I just close the door and I'm like, whatever. So I go sit back down and I'm eating, and he comes out and he has a cap with a Tylenol and like this small little one, like the Tylenol that I like immediately was like, okay, this is Tylenol. It was shaped like the long, I'm not gonna say rectangular, but it was long like that. And then the other one was like really tiny, like really circular and really tiny, like a damn plan B. So I look at it and then I double take, and then so I'm making a joke because in my mind, before he even said anything, I'm like, oh, this is the damn, what's the face? This is dang. This is I'm drawing a blank. This is like one of the other off-brand types of Tylenol or whatever, and he gave me, you know, one from the new one. And so he's like, so I'm like, is this a plan B? And he's like, oh, no, it's not. And I'm like, well, why it looks so tiny? Like, it looks like a plan B. And so I start laughing, and like I'm laughing, and as I'm laughing, I'm like hitting him like on his shoulder, like like, this look like a plan B, like, imagine. And so he gets serious, and so I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, is this a plan B? And he's like, nah, it's the old one from the other one. And I'm like, tell me the truth, is this a plan B? Because it looks like a plan B. And so he's like, yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you, it is. I'm like, you motherfucker, why would you like really try to slip me a plan B? Now, like I said to you guys before, I was already like with every intent planning on taking that already. by myself on my own. But I wasn't telling him because I didn't want to start no shit between us. But for the simple fact that you was really going to try to sneak that to me when the last time me and you talked about the plan B and us having or not having a baby was that I didn't want to take it. So you really was going to slide me that and have me take it? Now, what the hell if I took it, didn't say anything, and now I'm not getting my period, or I take 2, and even still, like, I mean, I'm pretty sure nothing would have happened if I took 2, but just me wasting $50 damn. But, or maybe prolonging my period for 6 months, who freaking knows? But you really legit, like, was gonna slip me a damn plan B and not say nothing, like, as if I wanted to have your alcoholic baby? I was so freaking pissed the fuck off, guys. Like, you guys have no freaking idea how pissed I was. Like, just to think that this man was capable of that.